Alright guys, join me as I build this Bando Basher. I apologize for the length of the video. I know it is long. I'll try to put chapters in here so you can just skip around as you wish. The video is not technical. It's just a long video. That's pretty much that's what it is. Alright, so let's get to building. Okay, what do we have for parts? I think I am going to use this camera. I think this is the RunCam. What we got? We got antenna. We're going to use this antenna because this is going to be a Bando Basher. The Mamba. We're going to go Diatone Mamba. That's what we're going to be using. We're going to use these motors from AxisFlying. These are 1950 kV motors we're going to be using for these. And I think we're going to use this. This was for a different build. This is the Radiomaster 250. Yeah, I think that's the Radiomaster 250. Alright, let's get to it. Let's unscrew some of this stuff. Alright guys, so first thing I gotta do is take off this antenna because I'm not gonna be this antenna thing. Alright, so here we go. We got the RunCam camera in here already. Now let's install the stack. Let's see how the stack is gonna install. Because this is a big capacitor that came with this stack, so we gotta see how we're gonna do this. I gotta solder the T60. I gotta solder that up. So this is gonna be a an analog build. We're not doing DJI or Cadex on this build. We're just doing analog on this build. So here's the thing, this frame came with stat screws, and the stack also came with stat screws. So now you got 5 screws left over that you can use on a different build. So now I already have I bought this box full of assorted nuts, not nuts. Well, not assorted nuts, but assorted screws, M3 screws and M4 screws, and bolts, washers, and nuts. So now I have 4 other screws I can add to my pack, and as stuff keeps coming I can keep adding stuff. So now these motors came with screws, but I can't use the screws because the screws are obviously going to be too short, so I have to use my own screws. So that's why it's good to buy some of these, to buy this assorted set, so that you can do that. Alright, so I got the soldering iron heating up. As a new builder, let me show you a trick that I do when I get one of these stacks. So see how this stack comes? They already plugged it in. These pieces are so small, right? These pieces are so small that sometimes you make a mistake and you plug it in wrong. So what I like to do when the stack is outside of the quad, I like to mark it. So if I have to unplug it for whatever reason while I'm working on it or something, I can always know which direction it's supposed to plug in without actually having to see the prongs or anything. So what I'll do is, it's already plugged in on this end, right? So I'll come like this and I'll mark it I'll mark it like that. And then I will plug in this other end over here. I'll find how it's supposed to plug in. Right? So it plugs in this way. Let's do it like this. Let's mark it on the bottom like that. So now it's marked. So anytime I have to plug it while it's in the quad and I can't see around the other stuff that's in there, I know, okay, well look, it's not marked at the top, but it is marked at the bottom. So that means I have to turn it around and plug it in. Alright, so now that you've seen how I do that, let's get some rubber grommets and get to soldering up this stuff. Is this 3030? I think it was 30. Alright, so let's see the VTX. The VTX goes like this in the back. Oh man, we got more than enough room for this. I could put this like this. Yeah, we got more than enough room for this thing. So I could just do like this. I could put this like this, which is negative. Oop, we're going the wrong way. Gotta go this way. So I could put this like this. Put it like that. Go in some more. Go in some more. All right, so let's get the soldering. All right, so that's soldered up. I made a mess on the table, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna use some. I'm not gonna use heat shrink. I'm gonna just put some tape over it, and that'll be that. So see that? Let's put some tape over the positive side instead of using heat shrink. And that's all she wrote. And then it will come up like this and go wherever it needs to go, to the back of the frame or whatever. All right, so that's that end. Let's put some grommets in this thing. I think we're gonna go. So then I'm gonna take 4 of these now. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna put, because it's too much space in between there. Sorry, there's not enough space in between there. I said too much. I mean, there's not enough space in between the bottom of that, the bottom of this, So now I could just go like this and put that in there. And it will sit off of the bottom of the board. Let me see if I could get the camera to focus and I can show you what I'm talking about. See right here? It's now off the bottom of the quad. That white plug is not touching the bottom of the quad at all. Alright, let's continue. We got that installed. So instead of trying to get this off, because I already put these washers on, I don't feel like taking them off again, I just unplugged it. So now you know that I got it marked right here on the side. So when I come to plug it back in, I can just look at it and plug it right back in. So I thought these were going to be spare grommets. It looks like I'm going to have to end up using all of them. I thought I was like, oh, so there's like 12 of these, I'm going to get some spares. No, actually, because they're so short, you actually end up using almost all of them. Probably you might got like two left back maybe. I don't know. I have to count after I finish putting them in. Looks like we have 4 left over. Two of these ones without the indent, and one with the indent. So you got 2 leftovers, 3 leftovers, sorry. And then I could put this back on. The flight controller goes like this, because this is where the, yeah, so it goes like this. The flight controller goes like that. And we could plug this back in over here. We know because we marked it, the marks are over here, and we can just turn this and plug it in like this. Alright, so before we get soldering anything, let me run a test, make sure I didn't get any solder everywhere else before we start. Before we go any further, what I like to do is I like to check as I go to make sure I didn't get any solder on anything. Nothing got ground off or anything. Some people use a smoke stopper. I bought this from AutoZone. This is my smoke stopper. So I got a multimeter right here. I got a multimeter right here, but I use this on the bench as my smoke stopper. Alright, so let's get to testing. It don't look like I have any grounds right now. I should have battery power somewhere around here somewhere. There it is, battery. So I got no problems so far. Should be a ground pad somewhere over here. There it is. So far so good with the soldering. We didn't get anything. We didn't get any grounds or anything. We're good. We're gonna start soldering up the Radiomaster receiver. We're gonna take a look at the wiring diagram and see how they want us to wire up the flight controller. Because I want to wire it up the way they want me to wire it, not the way I want to wire it. So that's what we're gonna do. That's garbage. It is kind of with a lot of heat shrink now. I don't think we need that much heat shrink. So let's just put this aside. Put the quad aside for a minute and let's solder positive, negative, and the UARTs. All right, let's look at the flight controller, and we're gonna wire it up in a color coordination that the UART, that the thing says to do it. So this is the Crossfire Nano. They want us to use green as RX1, and well, it would be gray, but it's not gray, it's white. And white would be TX. RX and TX. Alright, so let's do the ground and the thing first, obviously. Let's do positive and negative first. So we just put this here. Gonna use this and hold it. Right? Then let's put some. So this is how I'm gonna do this. How you choose to do it is up to you, but this is how I'm gonna do it. Put a little solder on here. And then put this. On there. We're gonna put ground on there. Then we're gonna do UART. We're gonna do the white one as the white one's gonna be gray because we don't have gray. So white one's gonna be gray, which is gonna be so white would be TX. So this is UART RX1, and then it goes over here to TX1, and then this is a green. So then we're gonna use the white as the orange, which would be RX. So in my case, green is TX on this receiver. I know I'm making this a little complicated. My apologies. All right, let's put this. Right, and then the white one would be RX. Good. Let's see, let's do a check with the tester, the smoke stopper, my smoke stopper, and see what we got. So we got nothing with the smoke stopper, right? Everything's good. I think that hole big enough that this could go through there on the board thing. Let me see, is it big enough? Yeah, it's big enough. Yeah, it could go through. So this goes, all this goes through here like this, and then goes like that. Right, and then we're gonna put this on top of the flight controller, and then this goes over here like this. All right, so we got that. All right, so that's that. Beautiful. All right, so now we move on to, we're gonna put this up through the frame. I am gonna end up soldering all 40s. I don't need to solder all 40s, but I am going to solder all 40s. And this is how I solder my wires to my my board. I don't come on the outside. I come on the inside. So when I'm done, everything is going across the flight controller like this. So let's go. So the flight control, the thing says this last pad here is ground. Let's get a little tape. I put tape over my my board because these little little solder that jump all over the place will get on things if you aren't careful. So this is ground right here. We're gonna put a little solder on ground. I am going to wire it up like this from this side. This is how I do it. How you do it is on you. So that's that. And then positive is the next one, 5 volt. Get the flux, put the flux right here. Positive. Put a little flux on the positive. Alright, now green one is talk, so this one is listen. So that's how you do this. You do talk and listen. So you know green is talk. Alright guys, so this is me from the future trying to clarify a mistake I made when I was soldering up. I actually soldered up the PPM, I think it is, or PMP or whatever you call that, I forget. So actually the green is supposed to come over here to UART1, RX1 and TX1 over here. So you got RX and TX. So green is RX, white is TX. And it's the opposite way around on the flight controller. If you look at the flight controller, you'll see the flight controller, not the flight controller, the receiver says RX on the white and TX on the green. The receiver is soldered on. So now we have to solder on the VTX. Where is it? Here it is. So this is the VTX right here. I am not taking off any of this wire. I'm going to leave all this wire on here. So the VTX goes like this. So the VTX is going to go like this. Alright, so the VTX, where is the VTX gonna go? Here we go. VTX goes over on this side, all the way over here. God damn, it goes far. Jesus. I'm trying to come up with a bolting solution that does not damage my my antenna. There it is. So that's that. Run these across the top like that. Run this across the top like this. And that's it. Now let's run the wires. Now we know we have 5 wires. So we start with green. Green will be smart audio. Yellow is video. And ground and positive. Let me just twist up this wire really quick. Run it under the receiver wires like this. And put it like that. We could put a zip tie on this. A couple of zip ties or some tape to hold it down really good. Alright, so let's get soldering. Right here. So let's put green here. And then the next one will be negative. Put negative right here. Then the next one will be positive. Put positive here. Put a little more solder on there. Probably should have held that while I was doing that. But and that's how. And that's it. Let me bring it up so you can see. the other end. So that is all sorted up. Now we gotta solder up the camera. So let's get the wires for the camera and solder that up. This is so damn hard to get in there. Holy shit. So what we have here over here is positive, negative, and video. 3 wires. The other wires I don't need. I could cut them off. I could zip tie them or whatever. But I don't need them. Gotta make sure nothing ain't touching. You don't want this stuff touching. Alright, let's run a test. Now that we got everything sorted up, let's run a test and see what we got. Positive, negative. Let's turn it around. I should get something from the capacitor, but I don't know if this is strong enough to give me something from the capacitor. I don't know if this is strong enough. Let's hold down. Let's hold this down onto ground and run through all the UARTs. Zoom out a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Let's run through the UARTs. That is already a problem. We got a problem over here. We got a wire touching. So see why we need to run, why we need to this is why we do our checks, so that we don't run into problems later. We already had wires over here touching. See? It's gone now. So if we had put a battery on that, we'd be in so much trouble. Alright, test here, nothing, 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 nothing. Good. You're like, wait a minute, you didn't even solder on the motor wires. Why are you working backwards? Why you didn't put on the motor wires? That's not a problem. I can always do like this. Pull up this. Pull this back. And put my motor wires on when I'm ready. I got more than enough room to just do like this and like that and put my motor wires on. So I'm all set up over here. I got my wires over there. Got my VTX over here. If you notice, I haven't really bolted anything or glued anything down yet. I'm just soldering up because I want to test as I solder. So let's do the motors. So we said we're gonna go with these black motors, right? So let's put some black motors on here. Remember I told you that this came with these screws or bolts for the what do you call it? But for the motor, but these screws are going to be too short. I like this motor. This motor looks strong. See how it has pieces on the inside and then this thing's on the outside, so they built it kind of strong. It is a strong motor. All right, let's get this motor installed. Where's my screwdriver? All right, let's use this one. Run them around here like this. You're gonna run them around here like these. Like these. Alright guys, I finished soldering up. This is what she looks like now. Not the prettiest job, unfortunately, but it is done. Could have been a little prettier, but it is what it is. So, I got a mess on my table. Gotta clean that up later. Alright, so that's done. Let's solder up this T60. Let's see if my soldering iron is strong enough to do this. Let's see, boy. Exactly how that was supposed to go. Oh, I just fucked up so bad. I forgot this. I thought I had it on. Oh man, I gotta take these off. Yeehaw! All right, so basically everything is. I'll turn off the iron. Basically everything is done. the motors are done. The camera is done. I think the only thing I didn't install was the GPS. I'm gonna install that later. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put the GPS. God damn it. Houston, we got a goddamn problem. The freaking capacitor is in the way of the freaking... I did not see that. Alright, we'll tackle that later. Alright, for right now, let's just let's test again. Make sure everything is everything. Negative, positive, nothing. Switch it around. Try it again. Nothing. Alright, so we got nothing from there. Alright, so let's install the antenna. So guys, I screwed up with the capacitor. But that's a minor thing. You need two of these. We're gonna put this in here like this. And we're gonna put this like this. Put that like that. And put this like this. Cut that and cut this. So that's how I have the antenna placed for the receiver. Just in the back like that. Nice and tucked away. Of course it's gonna get damaged if it hits a wall or something, or the corner of a wall or something, but it is what it is. Alright, so that's pretty much done. Except I gotta move the capacitor, which I'm gonna do later. But I tell you what, let's this is how she looks. Let me zoom out a bit. So this is how she looks so far, boys. And I still gotta tape. The wires. I'm gonna tape the wires. Where these screws came from? Right here. Okay guys, so what I'm doing here is a quick voiceover because I had to come back on a different day to complete this task. What I'm doing right now is relocating the capacitor. I'm getting this wire here. It's a pretty hard wire. It's computer wire. It's not gel wire. It's a wire I got off of one of my servers. I think it's a power wire from one of my servers, so I'm gonna just use it to relocate the capacitor. And I just wanted to take this time, now that I'm freed up, to ask you, have you taken Jesus as your personal savior? I'm sorry, I just thought that would be funny as hell. So I'm heating up the wires right now with what do you call that thing? Shrink wrap. And then I'm gonna tape it up, and then I'm gonna run it down to the back. All right, so I'm gonna let this little piece play out, and then we're gonna come back again. Alright guys, so I just finished moving the capacitor. Now I am taping up these arms to protect the wires, and as you can see, they got stretched out because I had to take this off and reposition the capacitor, so the wires got stretched out a bit. So now I'm fighting trying to get them realigned and everything, but it should be fine. And I'm using this tape, like I said, to help protect these wires, because this is going to be a Bando Basher. So these props are going to be hitting here all the time. Whenever I hit something, the prop is going to bend and hit the wires. So you want to protect these wires from getting bashed up when I hit something, because this is going to be a Bando Basher right here I'm building. So let me finish tape up these wires. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the build. Just need to put the top on and I'm pretty much done. What I probably will do is make a beta flight video as a number 3 in this series, and that's about it. I think I'm gonna cut it out here. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one, man. Thanks. Okay guys, we're just doing a quick hover test to make sure everything is working. That's it. We're not flying, we're just doing a quick hover test.